Deadliest Catch is a reality television series produced by Original Productions for the Discovery Channel. It portrays the real-life events aboard fishing vessels in the Bering Sea during the Alaskan king crab, sea opilio crab and Chionoecetes bairdi crab fishing seasons. The Aleutian Islands port of Dutch Harbor, Alaska is the base of operations for the fishing fleet. The show's title derives from the inherent high risk of injury or death associated with the work. Deadliest Catch premiered on the Discovery Channel on April 12, 2005 and currently airs in over 200 countries. The first season consisted of 10 episodes, with the finale airing on June 14, 2005. Subsequent seasons have aired on the same April to June or July schedule every year since the original 2005 season. The 10th season debuted on April 22, 2014. Format: the series follows life on the vast Bering Sea aboard 6 crab fishing boats during 2 of the crab fishing seasons, the October king crab season and the January opilio crab season. The show emphasizes the dangers on deck to the fishermen as crews duck heavy crab pots swinging into position, maneuver hundreds of pounds of crab across a deck strewn with hazards, and lean over the rails to position pots for launch or retrieval as gale force winds and high waves constantly lash the deck. The series also documents the dangers of being on a boat in the Bering Sea, in the midst of some of the coldest and stormiest waters on Earth, where even a minor problem may become complex with the nearest port often hundreds of miles away. Each episode focuses on a story, situation or theme that occurs on one or more boats, while side stories delve into the backgrounds and activities of 1 or 2 crew members, particularly the greenhorns on several boats. The fleet's captains are featured prominently, highlighting their camaraderie with their fellow captains and relationships with their crews, as well as their competition with other boats in the hunt for crab. Common themes include friendly rivalries among the captains, the familial ties throughout the fleet, the stresses of life on the Bering Sea, and the high burnout rate among greenhorns. Because Alaskan crab fishing is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, the U.S. Coast Guard rescue squads stationed at Integrated Support Command Kodiak and their outpost on St. Paul Island, near the northern end of the crab fishing grounds, are frequently shown rescuing crab boat crew members who fall victim to the harsh conditions on the Bering Sea. The USCG Rescue Squad was featured prominently during the episodes surrounding the loss of FV Big Valley in January 2005, the loss of FV Ocean Challenger in October 2006, and the loss of FV Katmai in October 2008. Original Productions keeps a camera crew stationed with the Coast Guard during the filming of the show. Narration: the show has no on-camera host. A narrator provides commentary connecting the storylines as the show shifts from one boat to another. Discovery Channel voice artist Mike Rowe narrates the action for North American airings. UK voice artist Bill Petrie, reading from a slightly altered script, offers a regionally familiar accent for the English-speaking viewers of the show in Europe. The show transitions between boats using a mock-up radar screen that shows the positions of the boats relative to one another and to the 2 ends of the fishing grounds, St. Paul Island to the north and Dutch Harbor to the south. Rowe was originally supposed to be the on-camera host as well, and he appeared in taped footage as himself during the first season of shooting. As filming of the first season was nearing completion, Discovery green-lighted production on another Rowe project, Dirty Jobs, under the condition that Rowe choose only one show on which to appear on camera. As Rowe relates the story, Discovery told him that the 2 shows would be airing back-to-back on the same night, thus, "We can't have you telling us stories about 6 dead fishermen on camera and making a fart joke with your arm in a cow's ass." Most of the footage Rowe shot during the first season became part of the first season's behind-the-scenes episode. After the 3rd season of Deadliest Catch, Rowe began hosting a post-season behind-the-scenes miniseries entitled After the Catch, a roundtable discussion featuring the captains relating their experiences filming the preceding season's episodes. A Season 3 episode of Dirty Jobs saw Rowe return to Alaska to take part in a job tangentially related to the fishing industry, a Eurodiesel fuel spill cleanup. Another episode that same season featured Rowe at work on board the FV Legacy doing trawl fishing and at-sea shellfish and other seafood processing, during which Rowe made numerous references to the crab fishing of Deadliest Catch. Changes required for parental guidance ratings. Because Deadliest Catch is essentially a filmed record of everyday life in a stressful working environment, the producers have to censor gestures and language deemed inappropriate for television audiences. For example, under the U.S. television ratings system, Deadliest Catch is rated TV-14 with inappropriate language as a highlighted concern. For visual disguise of such items as finger gestures, bloody injuries, or non-featured crew member anonymity, the producers use the traditional pixelization or simple blurring. However, due to the sheer volume of profanities used in the course of everyday crew member conversation, the producers occasionally employ alternate methods of censoring profanities, using sound effects such as a ship's horn, the clang of a hatch door, or a burst of radio static in place of the traditional bleep. Production, technical. The behind-the-scenes special provided insight on how the program is produced. A two-person TV crew lives on each boat profiled. They use handheld Sony HVL-Z5U and HVL-Z7U HDV cameras to shoot most of the series. Additional footage is provided by 4 stationary cameras that are permanently mounted around the ship and are constantly recording. Shots from vantage points outside the boat are accomplished through a variety of methods, including the use of a helicopter for footage near the harbor and a cameraman on a chase boat. The crew also makes use of underwater cameras, including one attached to a crab pot for a crab's eye view of the pot being retrieved in Season 2, one mounted in the main crab tank on the northwestern beginning in Season 2, and one mounted to a submersible watercraft beginning in Season 3. The Season 9 Behind the Lens special shows 2 more filming methods, divers near the boats, and a helicopter with a belly-mounted turret camera. Because of a lack of space on the boats, the crews do not have an audio mixer. Audio is recorded using wireless microphones worn by the fishermen and shotgun microphones attached to the cameras. In audio post-production, the sound team attempts to use actual sounds that were recorded on the boats. Although the equipment is carefully waterproofed, the cameras are routinely damaged by corrosion, ice and accidents. The camera crews, shooting episodes of Deadliest Catch is a dangerous occupation for the camera crews on board the boats. In the early seasons, when many of the camera crews had little or no experience on crab boats, they frequently ran into dangers not normally encountered when shooting a documentary. Northwestern Captain Sig Hansen told talk show host Jimmy Kimmel that he saved a cameraman's life during the first season, screaming at him to get out of the way just seconds before a 900-pound crab pot swinging from a crane crossed the space where the cameraman was standing. In another incident, showcased on the behind-the-scenes special, an inattentive cameraman had his leg fall through an open hatch on the deck of one of the boats when he unwittingly stepped into the hole, suffering 3 broken ribs. Film crews interacting with boat personnel, personal and sensitive situations. Interactions between the film crew and the fishermen appear in the show occasionally. During an episode of Season 4, Wizard Captain Keith Colburn demanded that cameras be turned off when he got into a heated argument with his brother Monty. The cameras were turned off, but the Colburns neglected to remove their wireless mix and the subsequent exchange was recorded and featured in the episode. Also in Season 4, Cornelia Marie Captain Phil Harris asked the cameraman filming him not to tell anyone else about his injuries, for fear it would stall his fishing. Later on, crew member and later acting Captain Murray Gamrath, concerned for Phil's well-being, asked a cameraman to keep an eye on him and to report any problem. During Season 5, the camera crew on the Northwestern were requested not to film crew member Jake Anderson being informed of his sister's death, which the camera crew honored. The death of Captain Phil Harris, on January 29, 2010, as original productions crews shot footage for Season 6 of the Cornelia Marie offloading sea opilio crab at St. Paul Island. Phil Harris, who had earlier complained of being excessively tired, went to his stateroom to retrieve pain medicines and collapsed. Second-year engineer Steve Ward discovered him on the floor of his stateroom, conscious but unable to move his left leg or his left hand. Ward immediately got Phil's sons Josh and Jake to come to his stateroom while he called for paramedics. According to Thom Beers, producer and creator of Deadliest Catch, Harris insisted that the camera crews continue to film him. "We want to remember Phil as who he was," Beers told Zap2it.com writer Kate O'Hare. we want to remember all the dynamics, but at the same time the guy was insistent when we were doing this, saying, dude, you've got to. We've got to have an end to the story, about the strength and resiliency of familial bonds, especially the father-son bond. You want to film this, film this. Beers said he honored Harris' wishes and continued to shoot as Harris was airlifted to Anchorage, Alaska, where doctors performed emergency brain surgery to relieve the pressure building up in the cranial vault and avoid further brain damage. Harris spent 11 days in ICU before succumbing to complications from his stroke on February 9, 2010. The Soul Rebels brass band performed a New Orleans-style jazz funeral for the late Captain Phil Harris on After the Catch. Computer-generated imagery. Some shots that would be difficult to capture with cameras are computer-generated imagery. CGI was used in the first 2 seasons, and again in Season 5 after the sinking of the Katmai, to demonstrate how the severely cold water of the Bering Sea causes men without survival suits to drown within minutes, showing the decrease in blood flow and the gradual failure of vital organs. In the second episode of the first season, CGI was used to show how a crab pot works. In the early episodes of Season 2, CGI was used to show how the overloaded deck of the Big Valley caused her to sink. In Season 3, CGI was used to show sea lions playing with crab pot boys, as what was believed to happen with Northwestern's crab pots before opilio season that year. In Season 4, Episode 1, CGI was used to show how a bent prop shaft on the Northwestern could fail and damage the boat. In Season 4, Episode 2, CGI was used to show the difference between brown and red king crab and the process of longlining. In Season 4, Episode 6, CGI was used to show how the falling cable of the picking hook of the Time Bandit would have killed greenhorn sheer long had it failed a few seconds later when a pot was attached to it. In Season 4, Episodes 9 and 10 used CGI to show how ice buildup would prove hazardous to the Coast Guard helicopter if its dacing systems failed. Also, how a rope that had fallen into the female crab release hole could get wrapped around the propeller and pull the pot across the deck, possibly crashing a man. In Season 5, CGI was used to illustrate the sinking Katmai deploying life rafts amidst battering waves. In Season 5, Episode 8, CGI was used to show how a tarp would protect the wizard spots from freezing. In Season 6, Episode 6, CGI was used to illustrate the grounding of a vessel in False Pass. In Season 6, Episode 15, CGI was used to illustrate the hydraulic system on the Kodiak. In Season 7, Episode 11, CGI was used to illustrate an anchor cable snapping during deployment on the Time Bandit. Sig Hansen, captain of the Northwestern, serves as a technical advisor to the series producers. On September 28, 2010, it was reported that 3 of the principal captains featured throughout the series run, the brothers Andy and Jonathan Hillstrand and Sig Hansen, would not return to the show due to litigation initiated by Discovery Communications involving the Hillstrands. On October 8, 2010, it was announced that the 3 captains had reached an agreement with Discovery and would return for the 7th season. Subject matter: Dangers of commercial fishing. Commercial fishing has long been considered one of the most dangerous jobs in America. In 2006, the Bureau of Labor Statistics ranked commercial fishing as the job occupation with the highest fatality rate with 141.7 per 100,000, almost 75% higher than the fatality rate for pilots, flight engineers and loggers, the next most hazardous occupations. However, Alaskan king crab fishing is considered even more dangerous than the average commercial fishing job, due to the conditions on the Bering Sea during the seasons they fish for crab. According to the pilot episode, the death rate during the main crab seasons averages out to nearly 1 fisherman per week, while the injury rate for crews on most crab boats is nearly 100% due to the severe weather conditions and the danger of working with such heavy machinery on a constantly rolling boat deck. Alaskan king crab fishing reported over 300 fatalities per 100,000 as of 2005, with over 80% of those deaths caused by drowning or hypothermia. Rationalization: Derby vs. Quota. The series' first season was shot during the final year of the Derby-style king crab fishery. The subsequent seasons have been set after the change to a quota system as part of a process known as rationalization. Under the old Derby style, a large number of crews competed with each other to catch crab during a restrictive time window. Under the new individual fishing quota system, established owners, such as those shown on the series, have been given quotas which they can fill at a more relaxed pace. In theory, it is intended to be safer, which was the main rationale for the change in the fishing rules. The transition to the quota system was also expected to increase the value of crab, by limiting the market of available crab. An influx of foreign crab negated some of these gains during the 2006 season. The rationalization process put many crews out of work because the owners of many small boats found their assigned quotas too small to meet operating expenses. During the first season run under the IFQ system, the fleet shrank from over 250 boats to about 89 larger boats with high quotas. Society of Fishermen, one of the series' main features is the portrayal of the harsh life at sea, including the behavior and mannerism of the fishermen who are engaged in a very dangerous lifestyle with little tolerance for low performance or ineptitude. Several of the series' shows have featured greenhorn fishermen who are usually the brunt of harsh criticism and sometimes bullying by veteran deckhands. In one case, a new fisherman entered a ship's bridge to berate his captain for what he saw as unfair comments. Another filmed incident was a fight on board the fishing vessel Wizard in which a greenhorn sailor with a weak on-board sucker punched a veteran fisherman who had been engaged in harassment and bullying. Again, the greenhorn was fired as soon as the ship hit port, leading to mixed reactions by fans of the show. Theme music. The opening theme for the US TV airings is Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. An instrumental excerpt is used in the opening credits for specials in the On Deck expanded episodes. The song is not used on the official DVD releases nor in the European version of the show. Commercials for Season 3 shown on the Discovery Channel family of networks featured an updated and faster version of the hit Styx song Come Sail Away, performed by the punk rock cover band Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Commercials for Season 7 featured the song Ain't No Grave, by Johnny Cash. Incidental music used in the episodes themselves is provided by Amygdala Music, a music production group run by Leslie Beers, wife of Deadliest Catch creator-producer Thom Beers. Bruce Hanifan was credited as composer for the first 7 seasons of Deadliest Catch and has also composed the incidental music for many other Thom Beers projects. The musical themes he created have been used in the show since the beginning. In addition to incidental music, entire compositions written and performed by well-known recording artists are also added as episode themes. An example would be the song Always a Rebel, written, performed, and produced by folk rock recording artist Vinnie James, at the request of the show's producer, Matt Renner, when the two met in Dutch Harbor during the filming of the 2008 season of Deadliest Catch. The song appeared as the theme track to the final hour, which was the season finale for the 2008 season. Lines of the song were inspired by accounts of life on the Bering Sea by Josh Harris of the Cornelia Marie and series director of photography Zach McFarlane. The song Between by singer-songwriter Vienna Teng was used on a few episodes during Season 2. The final 4 minutes of the Season 6 episode Redemption Day features Johnny Cash's rendition of Sheryl Crow's Redemption Day. The song plays over a montage of the crab vessels fighting through a massive Arctic squall and of Josh Harris sitting in a waiting room with friends as doctors struggle to revive Phil Harris, whose health has suddenly taken a turn for the worse. As Josh calls his brother Jake to deliver the news that we lost Dad, dude, the song's final chorus Freedom repeats solemnly 4 times and fades out over a simple shot of the Bering Sea raging. The instrumental version of the song was used on Discovery Canada. Vessels. The show is shot aboard various fishing vessels, some of which change from season to season. Featured fishing vessels. Fishing vessels with no embedded film crew, non-fishing vessels, 8 instead of footage of USCGCA Acushnet, WMEC 167, being shown, footage of USCGCA Alex Halia, WMEC 39, was shown. Episodes. As of the end of Season 5 in 2009, a total of 69 episodes of Deadliest Catch have been shown. not counting the pilot series America's Deadliest Season, which had 4 episodes. The show draws consistently high ratings for Discovery Channel. Season 3 attracted more than 49 million viewers over the course of the season and over 3 million viewers per first-run episode, making it one of 2007's most successful programs on cable TV. Overall ratings for Season 6 exceeded Season 5's by more than 10%. As a result, Deadliest Catch regularly wins its U.S. primetime telecast time slot. Ratings for the season opener Slow Burn drew a record 4.6 million viewers. On June 22, 2010, Blown Off Course, the first of 5 episodes that dealt with Phil Harris's stroke and its impact, drew 5.2 million viewers, more than 10% over Slow Burn. On July 13, 2010, the episode Redemption Day, which dealt with the death of Harris at its close, set another record audience for the show with 8.5 million viewers, making the episode the third most viewed broadcast in Discovery Channel's history. Awards: Deadliest Catch was nominated for 4 Primetime Emmy Awards for the 2007 television season. The series itself was nominated for Outstanding Non-Fiction Series. The third season episode The Unforgiving Sea received nominations for Outstanding Cinematography for Non-Fiction Programming, Outstanding Picture Editing for Non-Fiction Programming, and Outstanding Sound Mixing for Non-Fiction Programming. In 2012, the series won 2 of its 3 Emmy nominations for the 8th season episode I Don't Wanna Die. Related extras, pilots. The show was created as a regular series after 2 well-received pilots about Alaskan crabbing were produced by the Bears for the Discovery Channel. The first pilot was a 1-hour documentary entitled Deadliest Job in the World, which appeared in 1999. The show, which started with the sinking of the Rosie G, followed the fierce allegiance through the 1999 opilio crab season. The second pilot was a 3-part miniseries entitled America's Deadliest Season, which premiered on July 18, 2004, and covered the 2003-04 King and Opilio crab seasons. The miniseries followed the vessels Northwestern, Erla N and Sea Star during King Crab, and Erla N, Saga and Arctic Dawn during Opilio Crab. The series also features several crises, including the half-capsized Raven, man overboard calls from Shaman and Saga, and the constant threat of cold water and freezing spray. Beers did the voice-over narration for both series. Discovery picked up the show and ordered an 8-episode season to premiere in 2005. Beers turned the narration duties over to fellow Discovery Channel voice artist Mike Rowe, allowing Beers to continue working on new show development through his production company, Original Productions. Specials: After the Catch. After the Catch is a roundtable documentary-style television mini-series that follows the captains from Deadliest Catch when they're not fishing. The captains and crew members swap stories about the experiences and sights while fishing the Bering Sea. The spin-off series is produced in partnership with Original Productions and Silent Crow Arts. The first season aired in 2007, filmed at the Lock Spot Cafe, a bar in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood, hosted by Deadliest Catch narrator Mike Rowe. After the Catch 2 aired in 2008, filmed at Pratty's Bar in Gloucester, Massachusetts and hosted by Rowe. The third season, titled After the Catch 3, aired in 2009 and was filmed at RT's Longboard Bar and Grill in San Diego with Cash Cab's Ben Bailey hosting. After the Catch 4 aired in 2010, and was filmed at the Blue Nile Bar in New Orleans, with Rowe returning as host. The After the Catch miniseries was one of Discovery Channel's highest-rated miniseries in 2007 and spawned several additional after-the-series-type follow-up documentaries such as Everest, After the Climb, the 2007 follow-up to Everest, Beyond the Limit. After the Catch 6 was the last season of the post-fishing mini-series. Responding in part to a challenge and jest made late in the season by Mike Rowe to the captains to host a show of their own, the format for Season 9 was changed to run throughout the season's air dates. The Bait. The Bait is a pre-game show roundtable documentary-style television mini-series that previews select episodes of Deadliest Catch since Season 9, filmed in Dutch Harbor, and hosted by Sig Hansen, Jonathan and Andy Hillstrand, and Keith Colburn, with narration by Deadliest Catch narrator Mike Rowe. The captains swap stories about the off-season and hints on what the viewers can expect in that night's episode, with previews of the upcoming season in the king crab and opilio crab kickoffs. Regular features include the hot seat, and questions from celebrity fans of the show. The spin-off series is produced in partnership with Original Productions and Silent Crow Arts. The first episode, Opening Day, King Crab, aired on April 16, 2013. On Deck. On Deck is an expanded episode of Deadliest Catch featuring previously unaired footage, production notes, facts, and on occasion, social media comments. On Deck debuted April 23, 2013, and paralleled Season 9. Decked. Decked is a rebroadcast episode of Deadliest Catch featuring webcam catch chat with one or more captains between episode segments. Books. In April 2008, Andy and Jonathan Hillstrand, co-captains of the Time Bandit, with Malcolm McPherson, released a book titled Time Bandit, Two Brothers, the Bering Sea, and One of the World's Deadliest Jobs on their experiences as crab fishermen. Also in April 2008, Discovery Channel released the book Deadliest Catch, Desperate Hours. Edited by Larry Erickson, the book contains true stories of life and death at sea, as related by the captains and deckhands featured on the series. In December 2009, Travis Arquette, deckhand of the North American, released a book titled Deadliest Waters, Bering Sea Photography. This book is the first photography collection to be published about Bering Sea crab fishing, and includes many people from Deadliest Catch. In March 2010, Sig Hansen, captain of the Northwestern, released the book North by Northwestern, A Seafaring Family on Deadly Alaskan Waters, co-written with author Mark Sundin. The book details the Hansen family's history and that of Norwegian Americans in the fishing industry of the Pacific Northwest. In April 2013, Josh and Jake Harris released the book Captain Phil Harris, The Legendary Crab Fisherman, Our Hero, Our Dad, co-written with best-selling author Steve Springer and Blake Chavez. The book details the hard and fast life and death of the hard-working Cornelia Marie crab fisherman, who was described as always open-hearted and infectiously friendly, a devoted friend, a loving father, a steadfast captain, and a hero to audiences across America and around the world. Video games. In February 2008, Sig Hansen and Liquid Dragon Studios announced the upcoming release of a video game for Xbox 360 and PC inspired by the Deadliest Catch series entitled Deadliest Catch, Alaskan Storm. Liquid Dragon designers spent time with the Hansens on the Northwestern in the safety of Dutch Harbor and out on the Bering Sea to give them a sense of the real conditions that needed to be duplicated in the game. The game itself features the Northwestern, Cornelia Marie, and Sea Star as crab boats that can be chosen by the player, along with the Bering Star and the Shellfish. On June 17, 2008, the game was released in stores around North America. A second game, titled Deadliest Catch, Sea of Chaos, was announced in June 2010 and released in November 2010. It is developed by Double Tap Games and published by Crave Entertainment. See also, Flying Wild Alaska, Gold Rush, Great Lake Warriors, Ice Pilots, Ice Road Truckers, Lobster Wars, Lobstermen, Jeopardy at Sea, Swords, Life on the Line, Whale Wars, Wicked Tuna. References. External links: Deadliest Catch Network at Discovery.com, Deadliest Catch at the Internet Movie Database.